Welcome to the Planet63 Virtual Business Matchmaking Show, the next evolution of discovering Philippine and U.S.-made products and services. This is the show that helps create global sales opportunities and bring Philippine and U.S.-made products and services go from local to global. Thank you for watching the show, and now please welcome the host of Planet63 from Local to Global, Ferdinand B. Soriano. For every episode, our goal is to help you discover Philippine and U.S.-made products and services that are unique, relevant, trending, and ready to go from local to global. Now, I want to ask you guys a couple of questions. Have you ever taken a course online, or have you ever heard of Lambanog? Now, in today's episode, we have a U.S.-based company who wants to offer their online courses to the Philippine market in the area of medical coding. Listen to the presenter as to show you how that knowledge can be valuable in the U.S. market. Our other presenter has embarked on creating more awareness for traditional Philippine alcoholic beverage in the U.S. market. They have an award-winning next-level product that has taken the Southern California, bar and restaurant scene by storm now that COVID restrictions are starting to ease up in Southern California area. Now, stay tuned as he explains a little bit about the company's journey and what his product is all about. Good evening, everyone in the U.S. and magandang umaga sa inyong lahat sa Pilipinas. Welcome to the Planet63 Virtual Business Matchmaking Show, the next evolution of discovering Philippine and U.S.-made products and services. The name of the show is Planet63 from Local to Global. And thank you to everyone who's been watching and encouraging our show. I just want to go ahead and give some credit to some of the people that have been watching the show, supporting it. I want to go ahead and acknowledge Global Pinas TV 168 on Facebook. Global Filipino Network here in the U.S., and coming soon, Vegas Live TV. It's available on most media streaming apps such as Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Samsung Smart TV. Thank you so much. Now, my name is Ferdinand Soriano, Planet63. We are an export marketing and logistics management company. We are calling today's episode Lambanog and Medical Coding. If you stick around, you'll find out why. Now, our presenters today are looking for tips and suggestions on how to enter the U.S. and Philippine market, respectively. That's where the industry panel experts in our show and you, the audience, will come in. Now, let's meet our first guest presenter and the co-host of our show after a quick product alert break from YourCellParts.com. They were recently on our show, cell phones to potential Philippine distributors. Welcome back. Today you will be seeing a live product demonstration, and I mean a product demonstration. It's going to be an awesome demonstration. Live consultations from industry trade professionals from legal, logistics, and marketing, and how to enter the Philippine and U.S. market. You're going to see the latest news on international trade between the Philippines and the United States. You'll also see, which is the best part of the show, is a live interaction from global bureaus of the show, and hopefully a business match with an online distributor, online retailer, and wholesaler. Now, since this is a live show, we are interested in who's currently watching. So we want to know where you guys are watching right now. So drop us a message now, whether you're watching us on Facebook or YouTube, and we definitely welcome your feedback. Now, do that now. This show is too much for just one. We invited one of the most respected and successful entrepreneurs and business coaches based in the Philippines. Live from the Philippines, please welcome the Philippine franchise guru himself, Mr. Boots Bartolome.
Hey guys, hi, how are you, Ferdinand? And again, to all the fathers and the mothers, happy Father's Day. Okay, so how are you today, Ferdinand? How's the celebration of your Father's Day?
It was actually really good. I mean, it was uneventful. Everybody you can see here in the U.S., they're starting to come out and be out and about. That's why I said earlier there's going to be a lot more activity coming into the U.S. But my Father's Day was actually really good. I hope yours was too.
Yeah, right. And also the Grandfather's Day. So I'm a grandfather too, So it worked both ways. So again, we'd like to say hello to Mona Leaf Gawan, who's watching all the way from Davao City. So,
nice.
this is an awesome day for us because we'll be mixing coding and mixing drinks.
Oh
So
yeah.
it's an interesting show, I tell you. So
Well,
we hope to entice a lot of viewers to watch Planet 63 because we're in different platforms now. And thank you to all those guys who are looking at having Planet 63 in their platform, right? I mean, we're getting the traction there, right?
oh yes, definitely,
Yeah.
definitely.
So, I'd like let's call in our show first the video of our presenter because I'd like to see to show a lot of people the value of what his business is all about. And one of the things, Ferdinand, that I learned now with this pandemic is that you can still learn regardless of your age. I mean, this business is ageless. I mean,
Correct.
there's always a forevermore, right? I mean,
I
people
agree.
say there's no forever.
The presenter is just going to blow us away in terms of what he's offering online. So I can't wait until you get him started and show that video of his.
Yeah, let's show in. There you have it, guys. We don't want to sort of hang you, but let's hear it from the guy, from the founder himself, who started the business at the age of 40. As they say, the 40 becomes the year when you start blooming. So let's call in Eliasar Rada of VMCLI Coding. How are you, Ellie? How are you there doing
Hi.
you're in Vegas right now, right?
Yes, I am, Boots. I'm actually attending a workshop here, work-related workshop here in Las Vegas. And magandang umaga dyan sa Pilipinas and good evening, USA. And I heard that we have, this show has already reached, even the southern part of the Philippines. So I'd like to greet our kababayans in southern part of the Philippines, the Visayans, maayong buntag kaninyong tanan. And also, of course, we don't want to be our kababayans in northern part to be left out. Naimbag na bigat kada kayo amin, mga kapsat.
You're awesome. I mean, you're multi-dialect here, huh? So I hope you can speak the 171 dialects that we have here.
I do speak, I do speak fluent Cebuano, Kapampangan, and I was born and raised in Quezon City, but I was able to learn those languages in the Philippines. Yeah.
See. So you're really showing that age is not a factor to learn a lot of things. Tell us more about your company, that coding, that VMCLI LA coding. What is that coding? Because a lot of people are saying, "Oh, that's coding." No, but you got a special courses that people here in the Philippines can make use of, right?
Oh yeah, most definitely. But to start with, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Eliezer Rada. Friends call me Ellie or Eli. Funny thing about transitioning to Eli is that when I moved to US, I just I learned that Ellie was a girl name, so that's why I became Eli. So I am a health information management professional. I am, U.S. Trained and also educated by U.S. University here. I've been in the business, medical coding business, since 2013 actually, but I started teaching in 2014 and registered my company in 2015. So that's the progression of how this company started out. We originally started in Los Angeles, and doing physical class, and also professionally. My one of my day jobs is actually I'm working for UC Davis as an auditor, reviewer, clinical documentation specialist. So you were asking, Butch, what medical coding is. This is actually
Yeah.
one of the fastest growing industry here in the United States, and not only in the United States but also internationally.
Hmm.
Medical coding is, is part of the healthcare information management. It is so large and multifaceted that if you are credentialed, if you're certified as a medical coder here in the U.S., you can actually do a lot of things in healthcare business. You can become, of course, you can become a coder. You can be a medical biller. You can be a compliance auditor. You can be, an auditor myself, like a clinical documentation specialist. So there are a lot of jobs out there that medical coding really offers. So you get to learn many facets or many areas of the healthcare industry, and and what good thing about medical coding is that you mentioned earlier, Butch, that you can start at any age. And matter of
Hmm.
fact, when I learned this skill or this course, is I was already in my say late 40s. Yeah, and I don't want to so much emphasize on the age, but what I'm trying to say is that it is never too late for you to
Hmm.
learn medical coding, and the flexibility that the course offers is so huge that you can actually work wherever you are. You're not limited geographically, because learning now can be, of course, can be achieved or can be done electronically, like what we're doing right now. And of course, many companies now, especially big corporations here or big healthcare companies here in United States, are now starting to, actually not starting, but have been outsourcing their jobs in the Philippines. And I know for a fact that one corporation here, it has a big headquarters in in Taguig and Global. What is that?
Yeah, Bonifacio Global City.
Bonifacio Global City. So
Yep.
I've had actually family or relatives that are working there as doing this medical coding and everything. So
Hmm.
these flexibility or this opportunity of being able to work wherever you are, you're not limited geographically, is a huge advantage, a huge benefit as a medical coder. And
Wow.
like I said, it's never too late.
Right,
You
right,
can do it
right. It's
anytime.
Yeah, it's amazing, Ellie, that you are, you have this business, and really a lot of people are looking for alternatives, especially nowadays. Like, I want to have one or two jobs, okay, because
Yeah.
your other job probably has been cut down to 50%, and if you don't want to be stagnant. And I think the good news here is that the Philippines, our internet is getting better and better and better. So, but again, I'd like to invite the panel, these great guys we have here for the show. Let's call in the legal mind. I call him the F2 because he's the namesake of our founder, the Planet 63. Let's call in Attorney Ferdy Negre of Bengson Negre Untalan. Okay, good morning,
Good,
Ferdy.
good morning, Boots. Magandang umaga sa Pilipinas. Good day, everyone. Thanks again for having me here. Appreciate you having me here in this great show. Thank you, Boots.
Right, right. And the next in line is actually the mother of all gift certificates. Oops, sorry, or ex deal. I would say I guess Ellie will be giving out gift certificates to promote his business here. Let's call in the queen, the mother, Susie at Chacoso Cruz from Zambales. Yeah, Susie, good
Manila
morning.
and Zambales. But anyway, happy morning, Philippines, and at the same time to USA. Again and again and again, I would say Happy Father's Day. I hope I see all your hands after washing all the dishes and our clothes out here. Okay. Hi, Ellie. Hi, Ferds.
Hi, CC. Hi, Attorney Freddie.
Yeah, so let's first call in. Let's ask before we ask Susie. Let's call in Ferdy. What do you think of Ellie's business in terms of the trademark and all, how he can protect his business legally? What do you think of it, Ferdy?
Well, first off, Boots, I think it's a great product, services that you offer. There's really a need for that in the Philippines. Um, Both of from point of view of developing
Mhm.
Filipino coders, and also if you can bring that here in the Philippines, that would be great because there's a need, there's a gap, I would say, big gap in the Philippines in terms of medical coding. Speaking of protection, uh, Ellie or Eli,
Yeah,
and I have a
Eli.
point on that in a while. Um, 2 points in terms of intellectual property. The easy one is you have to come here and register your
Mhm.
trademark in the Philippines. And there are two here that I can see. We call it service mark or trademark, same thing.
Mhm.
Number one is your word mark, Valley Medical.
Mhm.
And number two is your beautiful logo, which I don't know. Do you describe it as a flower or something? It's beautiful
Oh,
and it's very catchy, that logo. So you need to register those two if you want protection in the Philippines.
mhm.
You cannot rely on your trademark registration in the US. You have to come
Okay.
here and register it. Number two, copyright, since you are into education.
Mhm.
So the materials that you use, if you develop those materials and the books, if you have books, which I now call the books of Eli,
That,
right?
That
that's
sounds
pretty
biblical.
talented here.
Yeah, that sounds biblical, Ferdy.
I'd rather go for the movie, but
Right. That's a really, yeah, that's a
so
great one.
anyway, going back, yeah, those are protected without registration. There's a bit of difference though in the US. You have to register it in your copyright office if you want to enforce your rights. Here in the Philippines, no need as well. So you're good insofar as copyright is concerned.
Okay.
And the last one that I'd like to perhaps share with you, this a bit tenuous, if I may say, not sure at this stage, because when the laws in the Philippines, when the Constitution of the Philippines was crafted, no such thing as online education.
Mhm.
In the Philippines, education is reserved to Filipinos or Philippine companies.
Okay.
All right. So you have to be a Filipino or go get a special permit if you are a foreigner. But I understand. I hope, Eli, that you have kept your Filipino citizenship, right?
Yes.
Anyway, excellent. So you're good. You're good insofar as
Yeah.
those nationalized industry is concerned.
Mhm.
You're good if you're Filipino. But you may need to get some approvals, government
Okay.
approvals. So there you go. You have IP trademarks, copyrights, and
Mhm.
probably government approvals for your online educational services. I hope those tips will be able to help you, Eli.
Of course, they are very helpful, attorney, and thank you for those tips. Yes.
Right, right. So that's Attorney Ferdy giving you, but the sense of urgency that I see here, Eli or Ellie or Eli or E2 or whatever. I can Okay, I'm getting confused about the name, but I think there's a sense of urgency because a lot of people, right, Ferdy, do register without economic value, and that's something that I think we should pay attention to registering our trademark or whatever intellectual property. Okay, and that's something else that we encourage you. Look at the Philippines, because this is your hub where you can get a lot of people to enroll. All
Mhm.
right. So let's hear from the Mother Queen. Mother Queen, what do you think of I don't know, Eli?
Okay, happy morning again. Well, number one, of course, I do my regular readings before the show. And in fact, I studied their website. And one thing that I need that you have to also incorporate in your website would be the number of years of your residence, of your existence. It will play a vital role because, number one, there is a company here in the Philippines that has already been established since 2011.
Okay.
And of course, if you are there 2013, it's just a difference of 2 years. And the only difference is that it's here in the Philippines and you're established in the US. Number two, please answer me after this one. I'd like to know is what are the means of your communications there? I think it's LinkedIn, but I think nowadays the social media platform that
Mhm.
we have, it plays a vital role, especially here in this country. Uh,
Okay.
One that was existing here in the Philippines 2011 has around 300,000. Wait, if I'm not, 89,000 likes already in
Okay.
Facebook. And their Instagram may be low, but number one, it adds on or augments to your current programs. It's
Okay.
something that's very important. And in fact, I've always recommended to my clients, like sometimes it's the other way around. They're happy with their platforms. Oh, it's all social media. I said, no. In the Philippines, print also still exists.
Mhm.
The traditional marketing, and at the same time, because the traditional marketing is normally appreciated more of the elderly, the more mature, not the elderly, but the mature. And at the
Uh,
same time, the current traditional publications here or newspapers do have their counterparts on online also. And of
okay.
course, they also develop their platforms on Facebook, social media. So I think you're going to have that cluster. And
Mhm.
then another question, I think
Mhm.
I think you can answer already, Ellie. How many, as of to date, how many have already been certified under your program? At least a figure. Um,
Okay. So if I can give you a good estimate, that's going to be around like 70 to 80 people that have already been certified.
See if you have
Uh,
70 to
yeah,
80
because
people. Yeah.
how I do my classes, I don't actually start my class with a big number of students. Like, I keep it at the minimum where I can really manage the students. Like the most number of students that I have in each class would be around like 10 to 12 people, so I can really interact appropriately. And over the years, and uh, I have like an average of two classes a year. I mean, two batches.
Okay.
So that's
Mhm.
the
Okay.
reason why I keep it at the minimum so that it doesn't really getting mismanaged. Because it's not teaching is not just about the teaching itself, but also managing student affairs, and that's
Right.
really very important.
Actually, I have another question. Like, if I get the program, if I go and enroll with you, do you
Yeah.
have a tie-up partner that I can be employed? Because it's the first thing they will
Yes.
ask, like a placement. And at the same time, uh, do you intend also to have partners here in the Philippines or just an online thing? Because I've seen some of the ones that you have also have partners in the Philippines. So, do you want it just to go online or look for a partner here? And at the
Well,
same
I can work both, because I know I can't be successful on my own. I need to have a counterpart, in the Philippines or anywhere in the world, to be able to bring
okay.
this product in a massive scale, right? So yeah, definitely, I'm very open to that arrangement, to that idea.
I I think Ferdinand, for the Negre has another point to add. Ferdy, you have anything to add?
Yes, thank you, Boots. Eli, I reckon that you must have a program or software that you have developed yourself to
Hmm.
do this online training. And with that, that also is subject of copyright protection.
Okay.
And you're good. And the difference is, unlike in the US, again, you may get a patent on your software. In the Philippines now, it's copyright protection that gives you
Okay.
protection.
Right,
Okay.
right.
So you're good.
So,
Thank you, Eli.
yeah. Um, Before we bring in Ferdinand Soriano, I think the point of Susie of having quality is so good. I mean, I like the way you said it, Ellie. Having quality partners because you can't manage it, everything.
Yeah.
And to grow your business, you need some a hub where they will take care of the enrollees that are coming from the Philippines or probably from each town or each region in the
Right. Right.
Philippines. So you get I like what you said about quality. You're not after quantity, but getting the quality of people to enroll and get certified in all your courses, right?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Yes. I keep it at a minimum that I can, be able to really manage it appropriately and, not getting out of hand. And another thing that I'd like to add is that I have not mentioned earlier that myself actually is an extension of American Health Information Management Association. This is a huge organization here in America, a top organization that gives credentials to medical information management professionals. And I myself can actually issue certification, telling everybody that this student of mine is U.S. trained. So I can definitely give that certification. And that's, I think, one of the advantages of me, doing the training myself because, if you have a U.S. certification, you can be marketable, not
Yeah.
only the U.S., Philippines, but also international.
Right. Awesome. Let's bring in Ferdinand Soriano. Ferdinand, what do you think of this awesome product? This is a service, actually.
You
It's
know,
a great business.
it definitely is a service bit, product, right? And what I
Yeah.
like about all of everybody, as consistent as you guys are in terms of product and insight, there's a lot of stuff there. And Eli, you can go and watch YouTube all the time and take back, take kind of repeat everything that they said, because that's what I love about our show. But you know what? When we first spoke, and this is what I want to just come across to the people that are watching, especially in the Philippines, especially everyone who wants to go into the medical field. And when I first discovered Ellie, what excited me about him, it was that what he's teaching, his approach is very slow and steady, right? He makes sure that whoever he puts takes under his wing and teaches them, and that's the reason why he doesn't have a big audience, because what we're trying to maybe get him connected to in the Philippines is maybe somebody who is also in the educational arena, somebody who has a current platform, because sometimes starting him off by himself would be difficult. So like Susie said, Boots said, I really agree, and also Ferdy, that we need to help him maybe find a partner in the Philippines that could do that for him, because again, with COVID here in the US, so getting better a little bit, but there's so much things that needs to be taken care of on the medical coding end of it, that there's a lot of opportunity. And I say that confidently here because I see it all the time. I've been checking out all the different the trends that are coming into the medical coding industry. For anybody in the Philippines who's interested and US trained,
Mhm.
that's going to give you some more of an edge. And that's what I'm trying to help with Ellie, and exposing his course there. So we need to find out an online platform that he can go on to.
But Ferdinand, let me just give you a testimonial because I have a godson who's working in the U.S. there, and he used to be very, very workaholic. I tell you, he rose from the rank from being a geologist to becoming a fast food to becoming a manager and working there in the U.S. And he was so burned out that one of the things that happened, unfortunately, was his daughter had an accident and led the daughter to become paralyzed, and
Mm.
so he had to work from home. I mean, he had to give up his job because his job would take him to different parts of LA, traveling the traffic and all the I-45 and I-15 there.
Mhm.
It's so tough. But until he found this coding, when I saw him lately, I said, "Oh, you look better now." I said, "Yeah, because I'm working as a coder." "Oh, tell me more." "Oh, he works only 3-4 hours, and he's certified, and he keeps on and studying and studying to a point that he's earning more, and he only spends about 3 hours a day."
Wow.
So,
Wow.
wow, amazing! And finally, this Eli came in like a cloud from a lightning from the clouds,
Yeah,
giving a lot
definitely.
of Filipinos
I
the
can really
ray of
attest to
hope,
that.
the
I
book
can
of
really
Eli.
attest to that, Boots. The the people that I have already trained so far, ranging from foreign medical doctors, people from other walks of life, yeah, different walks of life, people from showbiz. Actually, I have trained some Hollywood people who are wanna do this as a side hustle, because when COVID hit, there are people. The entertainment industry was heavily affected, so people are looking for something to do productively while on their hiatus, so to speak.
For, Ferdinand, I won't be surprised after the show. All of us will be talking to Eli and
Well,
say,
no.
"Eli, can we
Well,
enroll?"
no, yeah, I know. Everybody wants to have a side hustle, right? But
Side
Ellie,
hustle.
everybody. I like to just, what we want to bring home to the people in the Philippines, and even just here.
Yeah.
The point is that your course, we need to support it, because, like you said, whether it's here, but more so, we're targeting the Philippine market with it, because there's so many medical professionals, like you
Mm.
said, side hustles can do that. And and the Philippines is already well known for its BPO, right? Because of all the ways and how we handle different things, in terms of even just as simple as the customer service. We're awesome about that, right? But my point is that you're giving another angle or another perspective on how to be able to utilize the talent that we have in the Philippines. So I'm kind of glad and hope that we continue to support you, Ellie, with your business. So continue to stay tuned and see if we could be of any help. Now, I can't wait for our presenter to meet the U.S. panel expert. With everything that we just said, we gotta go ahead and see if what we can do about bringing up the U.S. panel expert. Now let's hear from them on what they have to say. Now let's take a product alert featuring a very popular online Philippine product store called ShopSariSari.com.
Ever wonder how to Ever wonder how to export and sell products in the USA? Ever wonder how to export and sell products globally? You're lucky you found us, because we've got exactly what you need. Introducing ShopSariSari.com. What is that? Shop Sari Sari is the leading marketplace for Filipino exporters. We sell globally to consumers and major retailers. We're a one-stop shop in importing your product and getting FDA approved. Check this out. Sell with the major brands. Registration is free. Sell in the mainstream channels. We sell your favorite Filipino brand. What do our customers think? Mark Araulio says, "Thank you for assisting me in getting my FDA approval in the United States." Anna Vergara from Arkansas, USA says, "I am thankful ShopSariSari.com was created." And from Paris, France, "I can't believe I got Filipino products delivered straight to my doorstep. What are you waiting for? Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, or email us if you have any questions. Visit www.shopsarisari.com. For suppliers, sign up for free at www.shopsarisari.com/supplier.
Welcome back. Since this is a live show, we're interested in who's currently watching us. Now, where are you currently watching us? So we recommend, or we suggest that if you want to just say hello, we actually support that. Go ahead and drop us a message on our Facebook and our YouTube right now, and see if you have any questions regarding the guests so far. Now, with all of that being said, I am excited. I am very definitely excited to introduce our next guest. Now, before we do that, having trusted and knowledgeable experts to help in the navigation of a market is always welcome. We just happen to have those experts from the U.S. market here today in our show. Now, let me go ahead and introduce these panel experts. Let me start with the first panel expert. He is in logistics. I usually try to do like a very formal introduction, but he's been with us and he's just an awesome guy to have to be on our show. He is from a company called Morrison Express. He's our resident logistics expert. He's been in the business for over 20 years in the supply chain operation with a strong emphasis in Asian countries. He's based in LA. We are so lucky to have him here to just give us some feedback, especially now with everything going on with logistics. He always gives us a perspective on what to expect in terms of any challenges. So please welcome Eduardo Vargas from Morrison Express.
Hey,
Eduardo.
How are you?
Man, I am good. Thank you so much for being here again. So, any news or any updates on what's going on with supply chain? Because obviously, that's a big deal right now with e-commerce the way it is.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I can tell you that the largest companies and OEMs like Apple or Samsung, you name it, like they're very, very, I mean, having a hard time. Everybody's having a hard time moving freight. The transportation cost is getting to be really expensive. The space is, I mean, at the minimum, not much capacity, but I mean, the clients and the companies are paying. So this is gonna bring, and it's bringing already, some sort of inflation and a little bit higher cost for everybody. I don't know if you noticed already, but and also lack of stock, right? Like you can buy a computer, but maybe not right now. It's gonna get to you maybe in the next 2-3 weeks or a month. If it's
Well, that's and that's the reason why I love that's what we do, because we give them a perspective on how to navigate through all of that. I like to think them a perspective on how to do that and talk to people like yourself so that they can sort of mitigate that, even though technically that is the reality. That's the reality right now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's always about tackling issues, right? And getting your product to your clients. I mean, that's what we are here for. And yeah, so I'm happy to be in the program again, Ferdinand, and yeah, happy to answer all the questions from your
Thanks, Eduardo.
yeah.
Just hang in there. We're going to go ahead and, we're calling you a little bit later. Now, I'd like to introduce the resident expert for our legal department. She's a U.S. lawyer who is also licensed to practice law in the Philippines. She has over 10 years of experience working with small to medium-sized companies focused in minimizing legal risks when doing business in the United States while acting as a business strategic advisor. She graduated from the top school in the Philippines, the University of the Philippines, Diliman, and Ateneo Law School. She's the U.S. counsel for several big Philippine companies such as TV5. Please welcome attorney Yudel Deloso Pinacho. Hi, Yudel.
Hi, good evening, Ferdy. Thank you again for having me here. And
Of
hello,
course.
Ricardo.
Yeah, you kind of put you kind of give a different perspective every time you are on the show, especially with what we're trying to do with some of the Philippine exporters trying to come in here. So just tell briefly a little bit about yourself, please.
Well, I am the founder of Deloso Pinacho Law. It's an international law firm. I am actually US-based business and estates attorney. And as you said, licensed also to practice in the Philippines as here. And my expertise revolves around counseling businesses, international and domestic, and helping them actually navigate the ever confusing laws, like comparative laws here and there, right? And to have clarity with their legal needs and provide them with very effective strategic plan for their business, either for setup, for growth, and even for succession planning.
Fantastic. I mean, like I said, the same thing that my sentiment is the same thing for you, Yudel, because at the end of the day, there are so many challenges out there. But I like to think, I mean, you could think of them in a negative way, but the reality is where there's chaos, there's also opportunity. So to me, more of these things happening, the more I'm empowered to know that what we're doing is we're trying to at least give some sort of semblance to maybe some sort of thought process or wisdom in how to do that if they're people are still considering bringing their products and services into the U.S. market. Thank you so much, Adele, and just hang in there. We're probably most likely calling you later. Now, what I go ahead and I'd like to bring in our resident marketing expert. She is a business valuation expert, and a business strategist also. She's the co-founder of My Jeepney Stop, now the fastest growing Filipino online directory with close to over 3,000 active listings, and has expanded its services to include event management, targeted marketing services, social media management, and web design. She has a law degree at Penn State University. Please welcome our resident marketing expert, Christina Espiritu.
Good evening, Ferdinand.
Hi, Christina. How are you?
Good. How about you?
I am fantastic, all things considered. So many things going on, and I'm just glad that everybody's here, always giving their best and giving a really amazing feedback. And I can't wait for your feedback as far as our next guest. So tell us just briefly a little bit about yourself.
As you've mentioned, so I'm the co-founder of My Jeepney Stop, and we started with just an online directory. But since then, we've had many different clients in different facets, and then one of my most favorite client will be the next one. So I can't wait to hear more about him, and then and talk about what we've done for his company. So.
Wonderful. I'm excited because it's not going to be the traditional way that we're going to present. We're going to do something special today for everyone, just doing something fun. I don't know what's it like in the Philippines right now, but in where I'm at, it's like over 100 and it's humid, and it's only appropriate that we have someone like our next guest here who's going to do a little bit of an interesting presentation. Let me give you a little bit of background who he is, our next presenter, okay, Christina. I met him about a year ago virtually, okay? He was kind of enough to be my first guest on my Philippine Product podcast. I joked around that his last name reminds me of a famous Philippine political leader. If you see his name, you're going to know who I mean if you know Philippine history. Now, it's been over a year, and despite of COVID, his product is moving right along and making amazing headway. Here today is the co-founder of Papo J's. Not only will he talk a little bit about his journey so far, but will actually mix a drink for us featuring, of course, Papo J's Lambanog. But before we introduce the co-founder of Papo J's, let's watch a very brief video of his product.
Hi, I'm Dave with Papo J's Lambanog. Lambanog is something uniquely Filipino and seems to be one of the great kept secrets of the Philippines. Papo J's Lambanog is a clear, 80-proof spirit made from the nectar of a coconut flower. It's not made from the coconut water. It's not an artificially flavored coconut cocktail. It's made from the nectar taken from the flowers of a coconut tree. With every sip of Papo J's, you really get the breakdown of the islands of where it was made. And you get the brightness of the intense sunshine, you get the sense of the coral and the volcanic soil. You get the salty sweet sugar of the ocean, and you get that weighty feeling from the humidity of the island. The alcohol is produced naturally, and it's distilled in a husk-fired copper still. Can't wait to share it with you.
I am definitely thirsty, okay, after watching that. So why don't we go ahead and introduce and bring onto the stage, our virtual stage here, one of the co-founders of Papo J's. Please welcome Dave Osmeña.
Thank you. How are you? Thank you so much for having us. We're really happy to be here, and I'm looking forward to learning so much about my own business and how to bring it, really bring it to the U.S. I got to say, I know you have a lot to say, but our strategy from the beginning was sort of while we tried to come up with real strategies, we got a lot of feedback of don't do it, and we really just decided we're going to do it, and we just went sort of Viking on it, and we decided we go one step at a time, bring the Lambanog to the U.S., and then burn the boats and just keep pushing forward. Or for your help.
No, I that's always been your style. I like I said, when I introduced you, I wanted to tell everybody that's been a year now, and I've seen the progress. So what you've done with your product. So this is sort of unusual in a way. So in the sense that we're usually talking to manufacturers in the Philippines who have not done it. So when we're trying to help them, but now you've done it, and I know you still have certain things. We're talking offline. We were talking about that you still need some assistance and more feedback and things of that nature. So, but before we talk about all that. If you can do us a favor, please mix us a little drink and talk a little bit about your company at the same time. And if you can do that, because I can't chew gum and walk at the same time. So hopefully you can do better than me.
We'll give it a shot. I will say that in the Philippines makes the most rum in the world. It also produces, I think, about 40% of the gin made. But for some reason, the one thing that is uniquely Filipino, I mean, there's rums made, all along the equator. There's gins made all over the world out of many different things. But the one thing that is uniquely Filipino is Lambanog, made from coconut nectar, as that little video said. And for some reason, we keep it a secret. We don't really share that with anyone, and I think it's the best out of all three. What I'll do is serve a very simple drink. I have a little mixing glass. We'll throw in some ice. Do that. Some pineapple juice. This is about 2 ounces of pineapple juice. We'll try that. Another Philippine product. And then this is another 2 ounces of coconut milk. Throw that in there. And then we'll go with 2 ounces of Papu J's, Lambanog. Really love Lambanog because it's I think it's the simplest of clear spirits. It's just coconut nectar. You let it ferment. Naturally, you leave it alone. You don't cook it. You don't add yeast like pretty much every other spirit in the world does. You leave it alone, and then you throw it in a still. And you get that beautiful, clear spirit. So I've just put in those 3 ingredients. Stir it up. Grab your favorite glass. This is mine. Add some ice. I like to use a little prettier ice than when I do the cooling part of it. And then pour it right on in. There you go.
Go ahead and bring me back in, Justin.
Yeah.
Justin, I mean, what I like about it, like I said, it's hot here. That looks so refreshing, and I wish I could actually literally go get it from you. But
I wish you could.
You showed us your mastery of mixology, even in simple form. Even that, I probably now going to watch YouTube and replay that, and then try to copy what you just did. But tell us what you've learned so far in bringing Philippine products to into the U.S. market. Why don't you share a little bit about that before we bring out the panel expert in terms of what you've learned?
I've learned that the U.S. market is actually more accepting than you would think. I thought it would be a real issue trying to introduce something so foreign. I mean, even saying Lambanog, can be difficult. I grew up in the U.S. and most of my friends were white, and sort of introducing them to the Filipino food at my house or anywhere, the things that we had, it was always sort of a struggle to show them what it was. And I thought it would be the same with Lambanog, and saying it, I'd have to say things like, it sounds like Lamborghini and eggnog, and you put it together and you get Lambanog. Give it a try, and it's what's terrific is you find so many adventurous people, people who want to think they've traveled, they want to try something special, something different, and they've never heard of it. So it's exciting. It's exciting for them. The people want to try it. Now, the other struggle is more of the liquor stores and the bars. Is sort of they become a little bit hesitant in that trying to bring in something new and create a whole new spot on a shelf for a different product. There's a little bit more education in something like that.
Well, Dave, I was just going to tell you that since you're there, obviously there's a party atmosphere with the alcohol in our broadcast. So let me go ahead and bring in the party then. So why don't we bring back Eduardo Vargas from Morrison Express? More than anything, what I want Eduardo to know when I first met you, Dave, is that we were talking about how to bring your products more efficiently. Now that they're here, you sort of now know how to bring it in, but are you officially? So I would like Eduardo to give a perspective on maybe how to to give a perspective on how to bring your products here. But maybe Dave, maybe you want to ask Eduardo a question as far as that's concerned, because I know that you've had some issues in the past.
No, I just got to say, it's a difficult process all the way from working with the government agencies, the CCB in the U.S., and then also the FDA, and getting the proper approvals to get done, and then working with sort of all the different aspects of arranging a quote and actually getting it from the port to a warehouse. And then also I added the added layers of regulations to spirits.
I mean, to your point, I guess the secret is getting the market to try it and taste it, right? Like either at the restaurants, bars. Maybe that's not that easy, but maybe hotels or experiences. I mean, you've seen that more than us, right? Like lately, people or companies sell experience, not only just the bar, right? But the whole trip, maybe somewhere, and then you get this. I mean, you see it with the wineries in Northern California. There's a lot of new brands there. I mean, there's wines that you might not even imagine the taste and flavor and everything. Those might not be that good. Others might be great, but they sell the experience to come and taste it, right? So maybe that's a different setup and also an investment. But I was thinking about that. And to your point, yes, FDA regulations very hard to get. Our warehouse has permits for food and beverages and alcohol, and that wasn't easy for us to get. I mean, alcohol is at the end DG, so I mean it's flammable, and that's why I mean TSA and every regulator in this country they are concerned, right? Because they don't want any issues. But I mean, other than that, I guess it's a matter of how do you bring it in how large batches and how the logistics can help you, right? Set up maybe some inventory here and there. If it comes from Asia, maybe LA is the best way to store it. Maybe you had two spots. I mean, the future for East and West Coast and to distribute, because at the end also once you have the clients, they want it for yesterday, right? And that's the other issue. Like, oh, Dave, I want this, but I want these many boxes for right now, right? So, and then FedEx or UPS or any solution comes up handy, and even like Amazon as well. I don't know if you try that part, but they want Prime, and that's another benefit, right? But also a challenge in the terms of cost and maybe investment as well.
Definitely, those are words to. Those are the words you definitely need to adhere to, Dave, because this gentleman has been for a while, and I know you've learned a lot. And it's important that we continue to grow by learning from other ways to bring your product efficiently, so that this way you can deliver a quality product and hopefully a competitive price also. With that being said, now thanks for that comment, Eduardo. Now I'd like to go ahead and give her perspective. As always, she always has a way about her in terms of giving you a perspective on how to properly maybe do business in the U.S. legally. And I know, Dave, you've already doing that. I'm sure that there's still a lot of things that you're learning and how to best form your company here in the U.S. So let me go ahead and bring up Udell, Attorney Udell, to give us some perspective.
Hi. Hi, Dave. Nice to meet you here. And I just feel bad that I don't have, I'm kidding. So,
yeah, I know. You're lucky.
So anyway, congratulations on, your product. I hear that it's really gaining momentum with respect to marketing. Actually, I had the first word about your product from a client here in San Diego. And they told me about your product, and I told it to Christine. I know that you have already your legal footing. I assume that you have a legal footing here in the United States. And from looking at your company, I see that you have partners, or you you have co-founders, right? I don't know the legal entity, but for me, when I start counseling clients or prospective clients, I'm an advocate of um, telling them that they have to have a very strong legal foundational system. And my foundational system are actually four, the what I call the lift. You have to have the legal, the insurance, the financials, and tax. So that's actually the foundation that I always make sure that the clients have. And if they're already in doing business, I look into their system in itself and their foundation to make sure that there are not holes there. Legal includes in-house. If you have co-members or partners looking into your agreement in itself, if you're LLC, how does your operating agreement look like, and so on. And then it's really important to minimize and also prevent conflicts, right? And that's important. From starting from having clarity of participation, shares of participation and responsibilities and stuff like that. And then moving along with, how does your tax structure look like, right? Are you protected by your insurance? How's your financial house? The health of your financial house. Are you clear about that? And moving along, it's to the end that especially if you're multi-member, right? It's important to be very clear with respect to your exit planning and succession planning. What if either one of you becomes incapacitated or wants to exit the business? That's something that at the beginning I always advise to my clients to talk about and to have something in place to for their maximum growth and of course for minimizing and avoiding conflicts. So that's
you know what, Udell, through past episode, you've given advice in different levels. That's why having Dave here today, where he's not a novice per se, he's had some experience now, but obviously things change, things happen in terms of the organization, and legally that's what you're being able to give him, because a lot of our past guests, it's all about they've never exported here, so they don't even know where to begin, and they're just concerned about how to make the product be sold here. But now that Dave's here, how do we continue to support a Philippine-made product like this so that there'll be more opportunities, not only for his company, because what that basically means is that if you can create livelihood, that's what we're trying to support and create, right, for the Philippines, because his products, it's made in the Philippines, so that's the reason why it benefits them. So if he's successful, then hopefully we're able to help him or support him create more livelihoods in the Philippines. So thank you for that, Yodel, for that feedback. Now I'd like to go ahead and bring up the resident marketing expert of our show. I'd like to bring up from my jeepney stop, Christina Espiritu.
Okay, well, thank you, Ferdinand. Hi, Ferdinand. So I think you guys will be jealous of me because I actually do have my own bottle.
Nice.
Yes.
See, she's already amazing with that.
And I have a lot more cases where that comes from. But if you do want to order, you just let me know.
Okay.
But yes, so I've had the pleasure of actually being the marketing team behind Papo J since I think September of last year. And so, Dave, Mike, and Joda have been one of our favorite clients. And I think for us, the biggest thing from early on is making sure that obviously that they go mainstream, but also B, making sure that they don't lose the authentic voice that they've had from the beginning. And so, first we started with just doing a comprehensive marketing plan for them. That was, while it was detailed, it also allowed for a little bit of pivot and then transition just because of what was going on since last year. So as many of you know, there's the pandemic. So there are a lot of restrictions that had, especially in the restaurant and the bar industry. And then since from September and now on, when it's finally open and things have been, finally actually people can actually go to bars, we've had to change a lot of the marketing strategies. And I think, one thing that we're grateful for is that Dave and his other co-founders are really understanding that things happen and that they are, that they are ready to also pivot and transition with us. But with regards to what we've done for them, while things were not open to be in person, we wanted to make sure that we're able to take advantage of the fact and of opportunities that we can do for them virtually. So aside from the typical website and then social media things that we do for them, we've also found some partnerships, for example, that we thought have been beneficial. And so we've done some really great events with Yelp, which was good in really bringing Lambanog mainstream. Yes, and then if you actually wanted to buy, thank you for the free shipping with the code Papa J Ship. So they're one of the places that you can buy Papa J's. And then with now the things are opening up, so we're able to actually bring them out to bars and do sampling. So I think Eduardo had talked about the experiences, and so that's one thing that we've been trying to do, making sure that the Filipino community who knows of Lambanog already but may not have tasted it since their childhood, are able to actually taste it again. And so those are the opportunities that we have been bringing up lately. So going to restaurants and bars that have a lot of Filipino customers. So
at the end of the day, I'm always excited by the fact that you do what you do for a lot of your clients, Christina, and regardless of whether they're Philippine made or other countries, if it's good quality, good product, it's great. With me, my agenda here every time we do the show is that how do you create more awareness for Philippine products, right? How do you create livelihood? So that with that being said, I'm going to turn it right back. Maybe a parting comment from Dave and what he thought about the perspectives that you guys gave him. Dave, is there anything that you want to add on, or maybe give a brief perspective on what you want to say to all other Philippine manufacturers who are thinking about going into the U.S. market?
Well, I just say more on the product itself, and one of the things one of the big driving factors of what we try to do is, like you said, provide livelihood and sustainably. So we looked at Lambanog as something that, again, uniquely Filipino, made, always in small batches, and we use we use manufacturers straight from the Philippines who have been making Lambanog for generations. They source all their nectar from farms within the area, and it's always a small or to medium-sized farm. There's sort of not really a corporation in sight, and that's really what we wanted to do. And then if you look at the coconut tree itself, it's super sustainable, and I don't know you can find anything more sustainable than that. It doesn't require any fertilizers. It doesn't require pesticides or herbicides. It doesn't even require any irrigation. It just grows, and it produces nectar year round. There's sort of no, like when you're growing potatoes or grains or grapes, you've got a season, and you work through your year, and then you harvest, and then you produce that. With Lambanog, you can go to a tree and collect nectar any time of the year, and that's something that really attracted us to that. And we love working with the people in the Philippines to make sure that there's an industry that we create, and they can provide, for their hometowns.
That's fantastic, Dave. I mean, first, before I forget, thank you so much for being on the show. I don't like it, the fact that I can't get a glass of that thing that you just created, and I don't even know what you call it, but the fact that you had pineapple and coconut milk already in there, I am probably, after the show, I'm going to go out and try to make what you just made. But thank you again for being on the show, and again, more power to you, more of everything to you, because at the end of the day, regardless of whether you or another company does it, we're trying to create awareness for Philippine brands here in this show and livelihood. So when we come back from the product alert break, we'll recap the show and announce the guests for our next show. Here is a message from AP USA. Boots, it's been an hour. I am so I'm excited for the products that we just brought in today because all of them are very, very relevant to what's happening in the world right now, obviously, in many ways, from the online courses because of COVID, and because of COVID in the US coming back out, a lot more people wanting to be social again and things of that nature. And then this great Philippine product can be a part of that, at least here in the US. So now with you, Roots, tell me what did you get out of the show? What was your thought process with
Well,
everything you just did?
Ferdy, watching these two dynamic entrepreneurs, I think one thing lacking is the establishing a story, a corporate social responsibility story. Like, for example, Dave can talk about a town where originally the Lambanog came. It sort of behooves people to say that if I'm going to drink this lambanog, I'm drinking something like I'm helping a town, which you mentioned this. No, so adapt a town so that this town will benefit, right? I mean,
Mhm.
that's from my take. Give back to the community, okay, and people will more or less help you promote that. Now, on the case of Ellie, I'd like to challenge Ellie to give out scholarship to people who are qualified against, for example, this COVID thing. I mean, a lot of people are down and literally down. How can LSR, the great ally, um, give like scholarship and say, okay, guys, I'm going to give about 5 scholarships, and let this be a good sign for a lot of Filipinos. No, I mean,
Mhm.
if you really want it and the mindset is so great, I mean, people will be qualified and really running after the brand.
Yep.
And I guess that's one of the things that you should do for your brand.
I think the show, with the help of everybody else here, we need to strive for that because it's great to be on the show, but how do we help them beyond that? Whether we individually could do it or we support him by maybe guiding him to the right channel, because these two products obviously creates again livelihoods, and hopefully not just for the manufacturing but creating somebody and developing them, like with Ellie's services. Now, our show strives for introducing unique, quality, and global ready products and services from the Philippines and the United States. Please come back and watch our next show. And if you want to be notified of the next show, please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube as we grow this channel with all the different partnerships that we're trying to form to get our word out, so to speak. So please connect with us on Facebook page or our YouTube page under Planet 63. And by the way, if you are a U.S. or a Philippine manufacturer, or service provider or brand owner, and you want to be a guest presenter, please feel free to reach out to us at info@planet63.com. That's info@planet63.com. Bruce, I always like ending our show with something something inspirational from you. So please don't disappoint us and give us a little bit of inspirational thought.
Yeah, it's a very short thing. You gotta do it. Do it. That's
Well,
it.
that I was going to say, I thought you were going to take at least another 10 seconds. But so you're taking from the just do it phrase. Okay, I love it. I'm okay with that. At the end of the day, that's what you're just trying to do. Now, I want to thank all of the panel experts, guest presenters, Boots, and the producers of the show, JR of JR Media, as well as supporters like Phil Export, Diana and Ia, DTI, especially Eric Elnar and Weng Sambulay of the Los Angeles office, Pezas, Aline Dipal, and Causa University San Bernardino Central for Global Management, Vipin, Frank, and Jamie, Global Pinas, 168, Global Filipino Network, and Vegas Live TV. Thank you all for watching. Boots, now let's go global.